All right, let's finally get this episode done. Wait Jasmine, wait. I'm coming. Jasmine. Wait, oh, for the love of... Jasmine!
God, Medusa, you scared me. Okay, that one snake definitely almost bit me.
Yes, I could see that. Batgirl, you know better than that. My apologies. However, Jasmine, have you looked at a calendar lately?
I mean, I should have it. No, oh my God, how is it already October?
Well, in your defense, it has been a rough year for you and your friends and your family and the world at large.
Okay, point taken, but fuck. Okay, because we do definitely need to get Monster Month done, but I also don't want Hadestown to stay in the vault. And considering the fact that is still 3 hours of editing, oh God.
Jasmine, breathe. I'm sure with the right amount of time management and prioritizing, we can make this work. Perhaps you need to take one last journey in order to finally make it out of Hadestown. All right. I guess all of our Monster Month selections do have a dreamy underworld vibe.
So, dear listeners, come join us in Monster Month 3, Dream Warriors in the Underworld.
A young girl feels her soul awaken.
There is a darkness upon the land.
The meanest dog you'll ever meet, he ain't the hound dog in the street. He bears some teeth and tears some skin, but brother, that's the worst of him. The dog you really gotta dread is the one that howls inside your head. It's him whose howling drives men mad and a mind to its undoing.
Where fairy tales end and nightmares begin.
You'd think I never met a girl cool before.
Don't dream it. Be it. Don't dream it. Be it.
I'm coming.
Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? So she was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the hot day made her very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her.
Welcome to A Neat Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. I'm your host, Jasmine Garcia, and welcome to Monster Month 3, Dream Warriors in the Underworld. And joining me today are...
Unsurprising bummer of a movie, it's River.
Above everything else, a lesson against blind obedience. It's Gillian, hi.
Ahoy, hoy, and I think we got the wrong Moana movie.
Listen, it's been a few years since I had watched this. It was definitely before the Disney Moana came out. So when I saw that the princess's name was Moana in the subtitle, I was like, oh my God,
Plus, there's two N's, according to the subtitles. It's Moana.
Pronounced with a Spanish accent, so I mean, it's still basically Moana. Not only is it the beginning of October, dear listeners, it is also, as of the dropping of this episode, October 6th, which means it is Mad Hatter Day. So I decided to make it a goal to try to watch a horror-tinged Alice in Wonderland thing, and this is just what won the poll. Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth, or frankly, I prefer Labyrinth del Fauno, because Pan has goddamn nothing to do with this. Frankly, low-key specious that you assume every fawn is Pan. Damn it.
Greetings, I am IER60, Star Wars Retelling Connections. Point of intersection found. This is a degree 5, featuring multiple crew from the prequel, original, and sequel trilogies, Rogue One, Solo, The Ewok Adventure, the 2008 Clone Wars series, Rebels, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, The Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew. Additional Oscar material found. Pan's Labyrinth won for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, and Best Makeup at the 79th Academy Awards.
Everyone acts surprised that this is the movie that won with this lot of nerds.
Yeah, no, we don't treat Guillermo del Toro as a god around here. What are you talking about?
A Guillermo del Toro movie won the poll? I'm shocked!
But with that all in mind, obviously, Guillermo del Toro loves to toy with folklore. His interests are very much of the both creepy and whimsical, and that is why we love him.
Is Guillermo del Toro the original whimsigoth? Discuss.
He is among them. He is among them.
Trying to think of who else is in that original whimsigoth.
Well, before we all got sick of him, I would definitely put Tim Burton in there.
I mean,
Before he said something about minorities not fitting his aesthetic and all that jazz.
Exactly.
But that's another story. Never mind. Anyway.
Anyway, I will say that Guillermo del Toro is the perpetual yes-ander of fairy tales and monster movies.
Yes.
He sort of looks at all of the things he loved as a child and goes, okay, but what if? And then pushes them a little bit further.
And that is why I love him.
Odds of seeing him in Toronto go up by 2% in a couple of days.
Nice! Oh my god!
nice.
So with that all in mind, again, Pan's Labyrinth has a lot of inspirations, but one of them is Alice in Wonderland. So what is everyone's connection to Alice in Wonderland?
I've never actually read or watched the Disney movie, Alice in Wonderland. Shock of shocks, again. I have parents with Disney adult capital lowercase a energy, and so, like, I know everything, and I know as a fun trivia fact, you know when you get those trivia facts that you get wrong once and they haunt you for the rest of your natural life?
Sure.
One of those trivia facts is that Alice is the Disney movie with the most original songs in it. It haunts me to this day because I got it wrong once. Anyway, so I don't have a shit ton of Alice experience. Like, I know of it. I know the structure. I know that it is essentially Alice raging her way through polite society in some weird other world that makes no sense to her, and doesn't even really compel her in a capacity. I know that everyone and their mother has tried to do an adaptation of it, edgy or otherwise, and I know that it is rife for shenaniganery, but I do not have the experience. Now, the other end of the spectrum of, like, the me to Addie barometer of how much do we know about Alice, I am the low end of nothing.
Yeah.
My first exposure was the Disney movie, of course. I saw the remake in theaters. I think I read a snippet of the book in a designated short story unit, or was in an elementary, middle school. Maybe we didn't, but I do remember seeing it. One of the anthology books that we pulled stuff from, so I'm not an expert, but I'm not unfamiliar.
I do feel like Alice fits very much the aesthetic of every English textbook you've ever encountered, when it's just 80% short stories that are just wouldn't it be fucked up if that happened? Anyway, I'm Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the other end of the spectrum, wouldn't it be fucked up if that happened? Anyway, I'm Shirley Jackson. Looking at you, the lottery.
God.
I had to read All Summer in a Day in middle school, and that was...
God, I read The Veldt and The Lottery in middle school. Both of those very much fucked me up. Bradbury and Jackson were just very good at that.
My friends and I had an ongoing list of the fucked up shit we read from, like, English that we, like, kind of half remembered. The only one I really remember from those two that, like, I really got, screwed over by is I did read There Will Come Soft Rains. Which, hoo boy, we are not getting close to that apocalypse. Thanks, Ray.
Anyway, Alex, how about you?
Well, I have seen the original Disney film, of course. I did see Into the Looking Glass in theaters, and I know a few things about the original story, but I haven't fully read it. Mm-hmm. And I also know about a Jell-O commercial.
What?
Yeah, there's an Alice in Wonderland Jell-O commercial where she's teaching, like, the Griffin and the Mock Turtle how to make Jell-O. I am not kidding. Look it up.
It's true, Ask any little girl. When it comes to entertaining, there's nothing quite like Jell-O. It's so bright, so colorful. It's like something out of Wonderland.
Of course, I had some schooling, but the extras I just simply couldn't afford.
He couldn't afford the cooking course, and he's dying to learn how to cook.
Otherwise, how can I entertain?
Oh, well, I'll teach you how to make Jell-O.
How to cook Jell-O?
You don't have to. Just quick as a wink, you have a beautiful dessert. And inexpensive, too.
Can I entertain with Jell-O?
There's nothing quite like Jell-O for entertaining. Everybody loves its jolly smile.
So when's the Jell-O party?
Tomorrow.
We accept.
Incredible. I love corporate America and their desire to make ads about everything and anything. And by that I mean, what the fuck?
I mean, you gotta give them credit. It's at least creative.
And I mean, there are definitely worse Jell-O commercials. At least this doesn't involve Cosby.
Exactly.
Get that ad money, executive.
Indeed. As for me, I've been on record in saying my mother is not a fan of the likes of The Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland. But to her credit, interestingly enough, long before I had watched the Disney movie, I did have a picture book version of the Disney movie that I distinctly remember her reading me a chapter a night at some point in my childhood. And I was so enchanted by all of the illustrations, of course, because, it is Mary Blair animation. You can't go wrong with Mary Blair animation. But
you can't.
But even before I watched the animated one, I am sorry to say I did watch the live-action remake before that. I do have a certain fondness for it, even though I recognize it is not very good. I do have a certain fondness for it. Listen, we all have our trash. It's fine.
It is Alice in Wonderland 2010. I can also put that in the category of fine. I appreciate it for being a requel, technically, but...
Yes. It kind of was ahead of the curve in terms of the requel/legacy sequel.
Yeah.
And additionally, and I'm not going to go too deep into it because I do have some weird baby internet trauma associated with this, but I also did read the first book of the Looking Glass Wars, which, for those of you who do not know, is one of those attempts to make a YA gritty adaptation of a fairy tale in which the whole idea is that Alice was actually the princess of Wonderland, but then her aunt, the Red Queen, killed her parents, and she got sent off into our world and basically got gaslit by everyone, including Charles Dodgson, aka Lewis Carroll's actual name, until she started thinking her own childhood did not actually happen. It was a whole thing. And the guy who got me into it was a 20-something creep who was into me, a teenager at the time. We don't need to get into it.
Rip.
And
I literally do not understand a word of what you just said.
Yeah, that... Listen, the early 2010s YA market was just kind of like that. Before the Hunger Games really, knocked that zone into, YA dystopia hell, it was really a minefield. Every, 4 or 5 books you were going to get a hold of were, deeply, deeply flawed, but equally fascinating. It's an absurd time to be alive.
Yeah, because with this book, the thing that I really do want to impress upon you guys is how ridiculously OP the powers that the members of the Hart royal family had. It's literally just called imagination, and essentially it just means you could conjure up just about anything, including at the end of the first book, she was able to conjure up a clone of herself to send to the Lydals in England, so she could get busy, ruling her actual kingdom, but they didn't have to lose their adoptive daughter.
Kind of like how Glamour's in the Lunar Chronicles?
I actually haven't read the Lunar Chronicles yet. I know I need to. I have Cinder on my shelf. I'm sure we will talk about that series one day.
All I'm hearing is that this is non-tinted Green Lantern bullshit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was about to say. This sounds a lot like Green Lantern.
That too, but also there is light imagination and dark imagination. And if I remember correctly, Wonderland does have two suns. Exactly. Just wanted to be Star Wars so goddamn bad.
Everything wants to be Star Wars so goddamn bad.
Sure. With that said, I am pretty sure I actually watched Pan's Labyrinth before I even watched the Disney movie. I can't remember if it was recommended to me by my dear, dear friend Beth, or if we were both recommended it by our mentor Melissa. Either way, thank you to either one of you, because I adore this movie. For a long time, it was my favorite Del Toro. It has since been dethroned by The Shape of Water, because, come on.
I was thinking about this during the movie, and I don't know if it's an unfair comparison.
Okay.
But Shape of Water is this movie, but better.
I mean, if so, in fairness, these two were about a decade apart.
But Shape of Water, to quote Innuendo Studios, that one Guillermo del Toro movie, it is that format refined.
I can see the argument. I do not feel the need to pit two queens against each other.
Like, that's what I mean when I say that I think it's an unfair thought. But because congratulations, audience, I'm the lucky 10,000 for this here episode.
Yeah. I think Alex is too, yeah? Was this your first time too, Alex?
The lucky 10,000? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, the Lucky 10,000 has been from the XKCD as a way of not shaming people who haven't gotten around to certain properties of media, which, hey, Jasmine, when are you going to watch Crimson Peak?
I know. It's insane I haven't watched Crimson Peak yet. It's insane. I know it is. It's so me-coded. I know it is.
It's incredibly you-coded. Anyway.
Hell, I was desperate to go to a theater to see it when it first came out, but I never got around to it.
So, cultural osmosis had not gotten to me about this movie, which Jazz was frankly surprised by. All I knew about this movie going in was that it was Guillermo del Toro doing a fairy tale. The Pale Man was involved. It's Doug.
Our good friend Doug.
Good friend Doug, who had to learn Spanish to read his lines and then ended up getting dubbed.
Oh, man.
And he was the only English speaker on set. Our good pal Doug. And that, it was set during the Spanish Civil War. Part of history I should probably learn about as a idiot Westerner, but I haven't gotten around to it. In my defense, there's a lot of history, and it only so many hours in the day.
I was lucky enough to know enough about the Spanish Civil War because I had a cool Spanish teacher junior year.
Oh.
He's the Spanish teacher who promised to teach us the swears. But he did. Yeah. But it was on the other side, on the downside to being the cool teacher. We didn't learn much, but we did learn a lot of culture. And he was a big Lorca nerd. So he had it's like, hey, here's all this historical context as to why Lorca was so prominent, and also fuck Francisco Franco. All my homies hate Francisco Franco.
Absolutely. I mean, we all hate a fascist in this here house.
We do hate a fascist.
I don't need the history to understand that I should be hating all these guys marching around in uniforms. Like, fuck those assholes.
Yeah.
And they're the same administration that had this poet, executed by firing squad.
Cinema Antifa, baby!
Yeah.
Cinema Antifa, baby! But yeah, so, I walked into this, and the opening, 3 minutes is this poor Ophelia on the ground, and I'm like, okay, all right, I guess we're doing this. And then going through the entire movie, and I'm like, yeah, man, this is a way less whimsical than I expected. This is more the goth of the whimsigoth.
Truly.
It's kind of the inverse of his Pinocchio, where I wasn't expecting the
trauma of it all.
Wasn't expecting the trauma of it all. Wasn't expecting the death of it all.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the source material of Pinocchio is, he does die, technically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Or, he's almost... he is hanging from a noose at one point.
But Pinocchio is blatant child endangerment, sure, but the boy can't die. This is blatant child endangerment, but no one's paying attention enough to this child to really give a shit.
She's just a little girl, man.
She's just a little kid.
She just lost her dad. She's got Her mom.
She's got the world's worst stepdad.
Yeah, no, I think all the fairy tale characters with shitty step-parents are just like, you win.
Yeah, ours are cruel and evil and maybe a bit of the capitalist in the form of, like, Cinderella's mom, depending on whose remake you're watching. But, like, an active fascist, yeah.
Ay, povera Ophelia. You win. Povera hija mía.
Rip to Ophelia, I wish you'd gotten to run away with Mercedes. Shout out to Mercedes, by the way. Queen among women.
Yeah, no, we love...
I forgot how much of a baddie she was.
She's such a badass, and, you know, it helps that I have an aunt named Mercedes as well, so...
Speaking of those fascists...
Yes?
Is it wrong I kind of want to see the Pale Man rip them apart limb from limb?
Not at all.
No, I respect that. I think that the Pale Man should have gotten to enact his inspiration, Saturn eating his own children.
Ooh.
And done that to the fascists, which if you haven't seen that Goya painting, highly recommend it. It fucks everyone up severely.
Yep.
One of my, like, 3 favorite paintings. It's, like, it and Nighthawks. Mostly for the remark about, like, hey, why didn't you paint the door? Shit, god damn it, not again.
That is a classic. God, I love art history. But
don't we all?
But no, so for those of you who are among the lucky 10K who have not seen this movie yet, first of all, please see this movie. But second of all, the basic premise is we've got this little girl named Ophelia. Her mother has just married a captain of Franco's army in the midst of the Spanish Civil War, which, you know, and obviously with everything else going on with World War II, I understand why you would miss that, but it was also really bad there. And basically, she is approached by a faun and told that she's actually the reincarnation of a... Yes, our good friend Doug playing the faun, as well as the villain.
Again, insert that Tumblr post where it's like, now things are going to get a little spooky, but don't worry, it's just Nina. But this Guillermo del Toro, and it's like, things are going to get a little spooky, but it's okay, it's just Doug.
It's just our good friend Doug Jones. God among men, he has worn so many prosthetics, and he survived the first Dash Con. I mean, come on. But anyway, so basically she's approached by this faun who says that because of the moon birthmark on her shoulder, she's actually the reincarnation of a lost princess of the Underworld. And she must complete a number of fairy tale tasks in order to reclaim her throne, basically. And the Fae logic of it all is about as dark and inexplicable as anything in Wonderland, if you ask me.
Classical Fae logic.
Oh,
you know, the Fae that will eat you.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in our human realm, we've got to deal with the fact that there are a bunch of rebels hiding out in the woods, and our dear stepfather is absolutely checked out of this world and just wants to die nobly, but he doesn't even fucking get that because fuck that asshole, baby!
Yeah, because not only is he a fascist, he's an abusive bitch!
He's an abusive bitch and a loser!
All fascists are losers. That's the secret.
Yeah, but he's an extra loser. Mm-hmm. Extra loser. Truly, Mercedes' final line of, no, he won't even know your name, is what matters. Yes. Also, I was convinced up until the baby was, like, born, that it was gonna end up a girl in spite of him.
Right?
Like, I wanted that baby to be a girl to spite him so badly.
You know what? I'll say it. There's still time. There's still
time! Trans baby!
Honestly, that would be very hard for that poor kid, given the time period in which they were born, but still, there is technically still time.
There is always time. Consider this. I love them.
Yes. You know what? Headcanon accepted at this point. Just...
The baby is never given a name.
No.
Pretty much.
No. And I don't think so.
There was too much going on for the baby to get named, because I should also mention that Ophelia's mother is dealing with a very difficult pregnancy in the midst of all of this, and unfortunately does end up passing in the middle of the movie because they got rid of the mandrake that was supposed to help her.
Yeah, really getting the reminder that giving birth is one of the worst things humans can do. We are so bad at it.
It's a miracle any of us make it through.
Real, even with today's modern medicine, compared to 1944.
Yeah.
We're still giving morphine. What is the doctor giving her? I couldn't quite figure it out.
I'll probably morphine.
Given the fairy tale tone, I wouldn't be surprised if it's never actually specified.
Probably never actually specified, but it does fuck our dear fascist up.
Yes, good.
Which, good. I know he has a name. I'm not learning it. He's just the loser.
Captain Vidal. I unfortunately do know his name.
I said he had it coming.
Oh, he absolutely had it coming.
The thing is that he's one of those villains that, like, even if you, like, didn't know that he was a fascist right off the bat, he shows up and you're like, oh, I need to punt you into the sun, actually.
Nah, I got a better idea. Put his butt in a saw trap.
Yeah, there he is, the biggest douche of the universe.
Truly!
Hello, Captain. I want to play a game.
Just the fact that he's already assuming that the kid is going to be male, and just the fact he's forcing his wife to go into the wheelchair, not even for her own health, but just, it's a power trip. And how little he pays attention to Ophelia, although God only knows it probably would have been worse if he had paid her any attention.
Yeah. And also, like, I understand that the mother is, like, doing her best, but, like, man, I am going to give you an award for, boy, howdy, you tried your best, but it still wasn't enough.
There's basically textual evidence she is constantly dealing with depression, so...
Oh yeah. One of the moments that, like, really shine for me is Ophelia's little speech of, like, hey, I promise if you don't hurt our mom, I will make you a prince.
I know.
It's very sweet. And it was gonna be my line of the movie for my little, like, tracker that I keep. It was gonna be the line for the movie, and then, no, motherfucker, don't touch the girl.
Yes, God. Mercedes is a queen. She's an Antifa queen, and we love her. Like,
Mercedes.
Like, for those of you who don't know, she's basically one of the maids of Captain Vidal, and is also kind of the only person who's actually trying to look out for Ophelia in this movie.
Truly. Mercedes, are you free on Tuesday when I am also free?
Understandable. I get it.
I am not quite good with babies, but I'm willing to try, babes.
Yeah, because I imagine she's going to be adopting that kid. Like, who else does the poor kid have? Maybe the kid just gets raised by all the rebels.
Polly baby. I've been a bit machine so far, and this is because I didn't take notes, which I usually don't do. But as I was telling everyone before recording, my brain is absolutely fucked when it comes to subtitled movies, because apparently my brain is like, you understand just enough Spanish to watch this without having to read it. And I said, no, brain, we need the subtitles. We can't hear without our subtitles, even with English movies.
I mean, personally, for me, it's more of like my brain is saying, oh, this is a Spanish movie. Yeah, subtitles. I kind of wish this had a dub of English, so I wouldn't have to read subtitles.
I respect Guillermo del Toro's insistence to not have it be dubbed. I understand that this is an artistic choice, and I appreciate it immensely, and I think that we, as a cultural hegemony, need to step away from English. However, I can't hear without my subtitles, brain! We need to read them!
I am just, obviously I'm going to be inserting that one famous line.
Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films.
I understand the desire to not read subtitles, but at the end of the day, I see both arguments. Like, yes, obviously I am all for making foreign films more accessible, but on the other hand, nobody has ever died from reading.
Yeah. Especially since, like, Guillermo did the subtitles himself because he got sick and tired of people doing poor jobs. So he's just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Love that.
King shit.
King
behavior.
shit. We love him very much.
God, this is gonna age poorly if he fucks us over. Anyway. Anyway.
Don't jinx us.
I'm trying not to.
Fingers crossed. Sorry.
Knocked on wood.
Appropriate for a movie about fairies.
But yeah, like, so, and the other thing is that, again, because I didn't get hit with the cultural osmosis, I underestimated how much of a fucking bummer this movie is.
Yeah, it puts the dark in dark fairy tale. Truly.
Like, I should have known, because, again, opening shot of a shot child and Princess of the Underworld, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have seen the death bells could not have rung any louder, but they clearly were ringing out a frequency only a dog could hear, because I went through this entire movie with, like, a little shred of stubborn hope, being like, come on, GDT, you're not gonna kill this 12-year-old, and then he 10. Did, and then I was like,
she's actually 10. That's even
You're not gonna kill this 10
girl.
You're not gonna kill this 10-year-old, and then he did. And I was like, fuck. Also, that's not a shape that meat should be in. I feel so bad for the stammering prisoner, who I don't remember his name as well. That was a mercy kill, Doctor. Salute to that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I like the Doctor's arc through this, and
Yeah.
I joked about it earlier in my introduction, but I think I just now noticed the through line of questioning authority in the film. I mean, that is the Doctor's whole arc. He has the line about blind obedience, or I don't
like,
have
maybe you can do that, Captain, but I sure as fuck can't. And
it's the not questioning authority. That's something that can be done by people like you.
Yeah,
and it's something that Guillermo has explored in other films, including Pinocchio. Like, as much as Guillermo loves fairy tales, I think he has a lot of problems with how many of the morals of these fairy tales are just, you should have listened to your parents.
I mean, yeah, and that's the other thing that we talk about when we talk about the other fairy tales is, like, the whole Oz month, and we talked about how, like, was Dorothy going home the right choice?
Yeah.
Or, like, would she have been better just staying in Oz? And I think that, like, Guillermo in this one wants to strike that balance of, like, no, the other world is dangerous, but so is our world. You're not picking one danger over the other. You have to accept where your support system is.
Yeah, Ophelia's kind of fucked either way, but at least in one way she's a princess.
Yeah, and if the other world is where her alleged father is, then that's a safety net she doesn't have in our world, which is why she stops living.
And say what you will about how fucked up Fae logic is, at least it's consistent.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But I was thinking, it's like, if you steal food from your own realm, which you came from, does it do anything still?
I mean, I really do think a lot of those tests, especially later on in the film, I do not believe she was ever supposed to actually let the fawn prick her brother. I feel like that was the real test. Like, and
they say so as the end. That's like that's the father's first line.
Exactly.
He's like, you did not let you didn't spill an innocent's blood, you spilled your own. That was the true and final test.
That is true. Yep, exactly. And just, I don't think that, I mean, obviously she ate the grapes, and while it did definitely fuck her over in regards to the quest, it didn't really cause any permanent damage. It didn't even make her any less capable of running away.
Like, the fawn was just mad for a few hours, and then the next was like, hey, remember when I said I wasn't gonna give you the last piece of your test? Yeah, about that.
You just lost your mom, and
Can
I
you
feel
just-
bad.
That.
Editor Jasmine here. You know what? My new headcanon is when Ophelia's mom passed over into the underworld, she gave the fawn what for. It's just like, you had better continue that test, motherfucker. I want my daughter back, you son of a bitch. Like, he doesn't actually say that, dear listeners, but that was the vibe I was getting. It's just like, okay, I do actually kind of feel bad.
Can you just come over and maybe bring your brother? And I may or may not prick him, but please.
Yeah. Without breaking out a history degree, a filmography degree, or, you know, a cinematic degree, you know, I could talk about color grading for weeks on end.
Are you happy the moon is a blue spotlight in this movie, River?
I'm very happy that either the moon is a blue spotlight or Guillermo del Toro said, day for night shooting, fuck it.
I have in my notes, like, remember when we used to light night scenes?
Yeah.
Remember how
It's a recurring thing among these podcasts.
Remember when they used to be visible at night? I'm side-eyeing Emerald Fennell, even though Saltburn is my trash. They can't light those night scenes.
And then, you know, the whole, like, oh, there's only green in our reality and there's no green in the other worlds, which, again, I don't think has a name, but because it's Fae, I'm just going to keep calling it Otherworld.
Yep, no, that's awesome.
I fucking love the fawn's design.
Yes!
It fucks so severely. I know how it was done. I know how those legs work. And yet, hi, Doug, you did great.
You did so good. And I also, like, while yes, some of the effects have kind of started to show their age, they're still really impressive.
Looking at you, that stick bug.
Oh, I was thinking of the toad.
The toad looked fine, but, like, the more attention they drew to the stick bug, the more I was like,
We were still in Shrek-O-Vision.
Not just that. I mean, the toad looked fine. And it was also with that book that essentially, like, it bled. That kind of showed its age a bit, but it did that.
Well, to me, when the book bled, it almost looked... The fact that it didn't quite look real kind of added to the fact that this is a magic book. So what the hell would a magic book bleeding really look like? But I definitely see your point.
I underestimated how much I love shock doors as a magical concept. Fucking love shock doors. They pop up in like a handful of things.
And it's really well used here.
Yeah, it's well
Ludy's
used.
got the chalk.
Yeah, chalk zone looking at you.
Chalk zone.
I was shocked it took us this long to get there.
Yeah. But also, like, chalk is a necessary component in Catabasis, or Catabasis? I don't know. Catabasis.
The new Arv Kwong novel, you mean? Okay.
Yeah. There's, like, different brands of chalk that's used to drawing magic sigils on the floor.
Cool. I really do need to get hold of that, because that book looks so pretty.
It's so fucking geeky.
I was about to say, that's not the only other example of chalk being used. Mm-hmm. It also is used in both Beetlejuice films to get at the characters to the afterlife.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Something dissertation here about chalk in magical practices that I don't have time to write because I don't have time to do like 3 different Google searches.
Yeah, no, very fair.
Someone's written that dissertation, I'm sure.
Yep.
How much connection is there between... Because the chalk door and salt circles were completely different, but they are both made composited of minerals.
I mean, gotta crave that mineral.
More craveable than the other.
Yeah, very much so. Please don't eat chalk. I don't know who wants to hear this, but don't eat chalk.
Pika may be a bitch, but also...
So I do want to talk about, like, the use of storytelling in the midst of this as well. Like, again, Ophelia is already a huge fan of fairy tales as kind of the first hint that she is different from what people expect of her. Like, she's constantly being pushed to let it go. It's like, you're getting a little old for that, aren't you? She's 10. Fuck
babytism.
Agreed.
Oh, very much babytism. But also, I mean, changelings, babytism. What's the diff?
Yes.
Alice in Wonderland.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's all connected, man. But also, like, I really loved the first story that she told her brother while he was in utero about the rose that could grant immortality, but there's so many thorns that could kill you that nobody reaches up for it, so it just wilts and dies alone. There's definitely a metaphor here somewhere about building walls and stopping you from being able to offer what you have to offer to people or something like that.
What? No.
Metaphor in a Del Toro?
What?
Oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I do love that this movie is a fairy tale stacked on top of a movie with a 3-act structure.
Yes.
Because, like, all of the stuff involving the Civil War is, like, a stereotypical, like, 3-act structure. You can, like, plot the beats. But on top of that, over here to camera B is Ophelia doing the fairy tale stuff.
Yes, and...
Classic 2 lines. They do intersect.
They do end up intersecting, and they kind of parallel each other, because, she's dealing with fairy tale danger, but there's also the fascist danger, the very unfortunately real danger. Well, both are real dangers in the text of here. I know there are people who read the ending as she's just hallucinating as she dies. Del Toro has out and out said no, and while I'm all for death of the author, I'm sorry, I'm not going to needlessly make this story sadder than it is.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I read that ending as like, yeah, she's fucking dead, man.
Yeah, but that was not Del Toro's intention, and frankly, I prefer Del Toro's intention.
And
Sure.
2 things can exist simultaneously, to paraphrase a brief.
Listen, you're talking to the king of, I understand thematically that Spike Spiegel is dead at the end of Cowboy Bebop. However, that bitch has survived worse. He's fine.
And listen, even if the Underworld is essentially an afterlife, okay, she'll be okay in said afterlife ruling her kingdom. It's fine.
The Underworld seems chill.
Yeah, I don't mean that she's, like, literally. I mean that to the mortal world she is dead.
Yeah,
the
so that does still make it sad, because obviously Mercedes doesn't know that she's okay.
Yeah, and in the Otherworld, like, the classic, you can cross into Otherworld by accident, but Otherworld can't cross back into you without having consequences with a capital C and a trademark symbol.
Yep, and listen, I don't think she's going to be running away again, considering what happened the first time, because the whole idea is that the princess originally kind of sneaked off into our world and the sun blinded her and forced her to forget her real life, and so she became mortal and ended up dying, and thus the reincarnation business.
Yes. Question. Is the actress playing the Otherworld mother, not to be confused with the other mother, the same actress as real mom?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. I thought so. I thought the voices sounded the same, but I wanted to double check.
It is the same actress, yes. The whole, kind of a Wizard of Oz thing where it's just like...
And you were there, and you were there.
Kind of, yeah. But also just kind of... It's adding to the reward that she is getting for braving through her fairy tale quests. It's like, here, you get both your mother and your father back. Because it's obviously implied that the king is the father that she lost.
Even though he's way older than Mom.
I mean, I think that might be the wig. It might be the wig. I hope it's the wig.
It might. I hope it's the wig,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
hope it's the
man.
wig.
But it's also the facial hair's white, which threw me off.
That's fair. But also, circling back to the bastard. With all of those shaving scenes, show of hands, who was rooting for Sweeney Todd's ghost to show up?
Considering I knew what happened to him, I kept waiting for those scenes because I forgot about that the wince was Mercedes in the barn, not the what was in the barn, not the of sewing his cheek back into place.
Yes.
To be honest, though, I know it probably would have never happened.
Right.
But it would have been cool, like, if they had a little, like a reference to Jason, just come at the end and just kill the general. Like, just kill him in the most gruesome way on screen.
Understandable, but definitely not this genre of flavor.
I think it would technically be more in keeping for it to be Freddy, but that's neither here nor there.
I was thinking Leatherface speak with the just hanging on the meat hook.
Yeah, real. No,
I vote Sweeney Todd's ghost because of the shaving.
Sweeney works.
Sweeney
yeah,
works.
No, I kept expecting him to nick himself.
Yes, and he does it right around here, off with his head.
Yeah,
it's true.
That's true.
He needed it.
I do appreciate Guillermo's restraint with some of the more body moments until the wince. Because when they were prepping to amputate that leg, I was like, please, God, don't make me watch this.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, me too.
I do feel like Del Toro recognizes that, well, for one thing, yes, there's such a thing as too much gore, but also our brains are more than capable of imagining the worst, and that is often even worse than seeing it on screen.
But so often Guillermo's horror is, again, borrowing Innuendo Studios, that's not a shape meat should be in.
Yes.
And so, again, to Shape of Water, the fingers rotting off and him having to, break them off is as a self-mutilation squick. Wah!
Yep, and also...
And the sewing the cheek back into place,
speaking of... you get another villain that grows more physically monstrous as the film goes on, and he has managed to not go straight into ableism about that yet. Thank God. Because it could easily be, but no. Not in this case.
Yeah.
The half Joker smile. I was thinking, continuing with the Alice parallels, he's the queen and he's also the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
But also,
he does not deserve the title Cheshire Cat.
No, he doesn't.
No. The Fawns, both White Rabbit and a little bit of Cheshire Cat.
I would argue a bit of the Hatter, too.
Yeah, a little bit of Hatter.
Yeah.
Would that make the Stickbug Fairy the Caterpillar?
Caterpillar, and I think starts as the White Rabbit, then that transfers to the Fawn, I think.
Not for nothing, the Fawn does have pretty long ears.
I think the way that Guillermo has steered away from the ableism thing is that, they're all minor injuries, and they're all a result of cruelty. So, it's never something that is inherently already there that gets worse. It is a result of someone fighting back against their cruelty.
Yeah.
So, I think the only one that isn't is Thomas's injury in Crimson Peak that I'm not going to spoil because you're going to go watch Crimson Peak after this. Gun.
You want to do a movie night?
Gun.
I'll take that as a yes.
But, in Shape of Water, he was taunting the fish man with tasers, so he got his fingers bitten off. Fuck around and find out. In this one, he's taunting Mercedes, not knowing she has a knife on her.
I still need to see Shape of Water. So
sorry.
Yeah,
it's fine. This is just
so many things happen.
This is just pushing me to watch it.
You should. It's gorgeous.
Shape of Water is an excellent movie where sometimes a family is a mute woman, black janitor, the mute woman's gay neighbor, defecting communist, and a fish man.
But sadly, not the gay man's cat.
Finally, the insert amount of genders here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That should be a date night movie for me and my girlfriend, by the way.
Absolutely. It's a very good date night movie.
And so, in this one, he's taunting Mercedes, and she's like, fuck you, motherfucker. Eat shit and die.
She's the best.
And then she cuts him.
Yes. And then she
Eat
cuts
shit
him.
and live, Bill.
Yeah, in The Devil's Backbone, it is getting the shit kicked out of him by a bunch of children, baby! So, again, it's all self-inflicted and it's all a result of cruelty.
Mm-hmm.
It is the embodiment of to fuck around as human, to find out as divine, and divinely ordained by the fish man.
The lion does not concern himself with... What does the lion even concern?
The Lion does not concern himself with fascists.
He does not.
As much as the fascists love taking lions, I'm like, that's a pack creature, sir. And all of the women do the hard work.
Yep.
Think about it this way. If they mess up, the lion eats them.
Pensé que los leopardos me comerían la cara. Slow it down now. I never thought. I never thought in my head. No, I never thought.
Mostly been talking about the quote-unquote real world stuff. Understandably so, but that toad, man.
That toad.
That's a good toad.
Yep,
That's a dead toad.
I like how Ophelia tries to reason with the toad first before. Yes! Good!
Because otherwise this could come off very cruel if she doesn't just like, hey, don't you feel bad about killing the tree here, dude? And he's just, nope.
That's simply too many cockroaches.
Yeah.
Guillermo, I'm not even that bug phobic. That's too many cockroaches.
There's so much mud.
Yeah, it's
There
really
is
gross.
truly so much mud. I have been in that level of mud to some extent or another. I once ended up on a camping trip where I ended up like I was like 10, but I was, a little bit shorter than I am now. And I ended up like up to my knees in mud at one point.
So
thankfully I was
here.
Yeah, I was like fished out by an adult, and he's like, come, we're gonna walk along the shoreline and not let them deal with the nonsense. And I'm like, thanks, dude.
But yeah, I'd like to think that she would not have passed if she hadn't tried to reason with him first.
Yeah.
But no, he's an invasive species who is clearly unapologetic, so yeah, fuck him.
And that could also be part of the testing of refusing to hurt another in the pursuit of
using to shed innocent
the
blood,
destiny.
or in this case, have an innocent puke out his whole stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Which, yeah, gnarly.
Gnarly.
Everything's gnarly.
Pale Man's design? Fox. Yeah, not in that way, but in the other way.
Oh, someone out there wants to.
I know!
Probably.
Probably. The internet is, again...
I saw a Tumblr post earlier that was like, if Pan's Labyrinth came out today, people would want to fuck that fawn.
Yeah,
and all the Andrew Tate...
People want to fuck that fawn!
Oh, people
Are
definitely
you
want to fuck
kidding
that fawn.
me?
Yeah, and people would want to fuck that Pale Man.
Yeah.
And all the dude bros will be having, like, your grind set, like, look to Vidal as a grind set figure.
Great, now I'm gonna vomit my stomach.
No, but like, again, something Ellie's server talking about Orin and wanting to fuck Orin from Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm like, that's a conventionally attractive monster. Like, the fawn is not quite a conventionally attractive monster, but he does fall under the bipedal, mostly man-shaped category of monsterness.
I would understand where someone was coming from. He's not really my flavor of monster, but I get it.
He passes the Harkness test, and that's all that matters.
Very easily, yes.
So
does the Pale Man pass the Harkness test?
Can he consent? That is the...
He does have a mouth, right? So, like, but does he have vocal cords?
And he's frozen most of the time. I mean, he screams at several points, so he does have vocal cords. I don't know if he has language, though.
So I don't know if you can actually fuck that Pale Man.
Nor should you really want to, guys. Please.
The Pale Man is an embodiment of capitalism. Why would you want to fuck him? Anyway, did you expect that this is how the episode was going to go, Jazz?
No, but I'm having a great time.
Perfect.
But hey, what those fingers do, somebody out there.
No!
Somebody out there, I am...
To borrow a joke from Futurama, to shreds, you say.
Del Toro movies and getting unexpectedly horny. Oh my god.
What? No!
What did we
That's
expect?
happened.
That's impossible. But yeah, oh God, Ophelia, honey, you know better. You know better. You read all the fairy tales. Why are you eating the grapes?
They don't even look that good.
If they're trying to tell you not to do something, don't freaking do it.
But also, like, is that the same? That's not like the same night, but it doesn't seem like she's been eating.
Yeah,
she's
for sure
a starving child.
She is.
Vidal is not feeding her.
In Spain, they're rationing at this point, so this isn't...
Yeah, they're rationing, but like, she's maybe Mercedes is sneaking her food, but I don't think this bitch has been eating. I don't know when the last time she got a vegetable was.
If we can forgive Edmund Pevensey, we can absolutely forgive Ophelia.
Do we forgive Edmund Pevensey?
I mean, the narrative does.
I can see why he did it. He is also a bit of a twat.
Yeah.
And I say this.
But then again, what teenage boy isn't?
Exactly.
Worst crime is being a preteen boy during a war.
Yeah. You all think you're smarter than you really are, and you haven't experienced enough of the world to justify having
that level of confidence.
These feeling confidence and superiority.
Also, regarding the mandrake that the fawn gives her to try to heal her mother, in this movie, feeding the plant's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Feed the plant.
At least the plant didn't try to take over the world.
Exactly.
This time.
In fact, by killing it, unfortunately, her mother sealed her own doom. And honestly, considering it was during her definitely most pessimistic moment, I think Del Toro's tried to tell us something about doomerism.
I think he's also trying to say something about, like, that feeling when you're ill and you're, like, 90% of the way better and you start trying to overexert yourself and then everything collapses in on yourself and you're like, no, actually, you're not as well as you think you are.
Yes.
Or it's like the Molly Grew monologue in The Last Unicorn, where it's like, this is a good thing, why didn't it happen sooner?
Also true.
And where were you 20 years ago? 10 years ago? Where were you when I was new? When I was one of those innocent young maidens you always come to? How dare you? How dare you come to me now? When I am this? It would be the last unicorn in the world that came to Molly Grew.
I haven't even seen The Last Unicorn in full, but I quote that line all the time because I feel that. I feel that so hard. Like, where were you?
Yeah.
Where were you when I needed you?
Well, I guess we just gotta be each other's good. That's the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, let's also just be glad that some of those good times come at all.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And it's just a shame that Ophelia's mom did indeed have to die, even though I guess one could argue was the only way she was gonna reunite with her come the ending. Which I guess the implication is she was also a lost soul from the underworld, maybe. And also, I gotta say, you know, at first, like, Vidal's monologue when he's talking about the torture tools, at first it's actually genuinely chilling. But then he does it again, and it's just like, oh, so you just have this memorized. You absolute dorkadoofus weirdo.
You loser!
Imagine having canned bits that you do before torturing somebody. That's kind of cringe.
So
cringe fucking behavior.
Like,
But hey, I do know one thing, though. Oh, this was probably the devil's reaction when they all died. Oh, goody, new playthings!
Hopefully. Because, yep, I do appreciate that he died not only watching everything he owns burning to embers, not only seeing every motherfucker he was trying to capture surrounding him, and got to know, yeah, your kid's not going to know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
You are going to have no legacy.
Fuck you. That's all you ever wanted, and I'm taking it away from you, as God intended.
Yep.
Though, considering everything he had done, I kind of wanted a more gruesome death for him.
I understand.
Nah.
He probably wanted to die in some grandiose measure.
That's his whole thing with the watch, is that he wants to die in such a way to leave the watch for his kid, so that his kid will know the exact hour in which he died, like his father before him. That's why he keeps fixing it up, so that it can break on him, and that his son can have it. And the fact that he's getting none of that, chef's kiss. Top tier.
But nothing says that you cannot write fanfiction about his times in hell.
Like, there are so many other things you should be writing fanfiction about. Why?
Why write that when you could write Fawn X reader fic?
That is so true, though.
Sorry.
That is true.
Gillian just sideswiped me in a semi anyway. I should have seen it coming. I should have heard the horns, and yet...
Considering what a very serious and sad movie this is, I am a little stunned at how much we've been able to make jokes.
Gotta make our jokes where we can, baby.
Ouch. Because it is genuine. Like, I say this all the time. The only reason I don't watch this more often is because what if I lost it? What if I wept like a baby? As you would put it, River.
I'm glad that I've added this to the lexicon of fan reactions.
It's true, though, because, like, again, you really do get attached to this poor little girl. And she just goes through everything.
You've had her for a day and she goes through everything.
It's just, she's trying her damn best to make sense of a world that refuses to make sense, so of course she attaches herself to fairy tales. Hell, that was the same reason I did it. And, you know, she's getting confirmation that it's all actually real in spite of what all the grown-ups in her life are telling her.
Yeah.
And even Mercedes, but at least Mercedes is a little more supportive of her daydreaming and stuff. And she's just trying to be good. Hell, like, just the fact she was trying hard to protect the dress that she didn't even seem that thrilled about. And again, most obvious Alice in Wonderland shout out, that dress. You know, she hung it up so that way when she was getting in the mud, it wouldn't get dirty, but it got dirty anyway. But she's always trying, man. Including protecting the brother that, as the Fawn pointed out, yeah, this baby's kind of part of the reason why everything's gone wrong for you. And she's just like, I don't care, he's still my little brother. And it's just really sad that at first it does seem like she's being punished for it, but then you realize that is how she gets to make it home, basically. And it's just a shame that the people who were left behind don't get to know that she is okay. This is a really beautiful movie, actually. It really is.
It is beautiful, but it is depressing.
Yeah, no, it's very sad.
Yeah, I do think it is my instance of this is not my flavor of delicious cake.
Yes. And that's fair. I get it.
Where, again, I understand all of the instincts. I understand where every motivation is coming from. I understand the craft, and I understand what makes it good. It's good. It's not for me.
Would you say that you're in a similar boat with Sam's list of, I recognize this movie is good, I never want to watch it again?
No, because I could see a version of me rewatching this at, like, a later point. Like, if another one of my friends hit, like, the lucky 10,000, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll sit down and watch it with you. But, like, it's not a movie that, you know, there's nothing about it that latches onto my brain and goes, ooh, I want to tug at that. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of the movies I like, again, and I've talked this a little bit about you with Jazz, is that, like, a lot of the things that I enjoy have some aspect where I can go burrow. I can go down as deep as I want to and learn everything I can understand about something.
While this is very much a standalone kind of story, there really isn't any room for anything more.
Yeah, there are standalone stories where I can find some thread to go tug at, but everything here is so neatly woven, and that Guillermo del Toro has not left a loose enough thread for me to tug at and go pulling at and go burying into, you know?
No, that makes perfect sense, given you're a lore hound. You want to find out all the lore. You want to read all of the fan fiction. I get it. This is definitely not the kind... As much as we've joked about fanfic premises with this, there's really not a whole lot to add here. It's such a tight little movie.
The novelization does add more lore.
I really need to give it a read, because I have read the Shape of Water novel, so I'm sure I'll enjoy that.
But that's because Guillermo del Toro writes like 50 billion pages of notes and doodles before he starts a movie.
Yeah.
Because there is no way to burrow, there is no way to, like, go off in a different direction. There's no... Like, we know enough about these characters and what we don't know about the other characters we were never meant to know, sort of thing. There's nothing to tug at.
No, I definitely understand that for sure. For me, just how gorgeous it is visually, and just the dark fairy tale vibes is very, very me-coded. This was the movie that made me fall in love with Guillermo del Toro's work. It was my first Del Toro, and I was hooked ever since.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to think what my first one is. Crimson Peak. I saw Crimson Peak a little bit before I saw Shape of Water.
Which makes sense, because Tom Hiddleston. You know, I'm right. Dear listeners, we're being very sibling right now.
I know I saw the first, like, adaptation Guillermo did of a certain red-skinned and comic hero.
Oh, Hellboy.
Yes.
You know what? I did see Hellboy first, actually. Thank you for reminding me. Although I saw Hellboy 2 first. Man, I didn't even think of that, because I don't really like to think about the family I saw it with. The friendship ended badly. But they would always just see whatever new action movie was in theaters that week.
There's also a Blade in there.
Maybe Pacific Rim.
Pac Rim. I actually haven't seen Pac Rim all the way through. I've seen pieces of it.
Well, we should definitely fix that at some point. But
if I remember correctly, I saw it on Netflix when it was there, and I quite enjoyed that. This was more depressing than that.
I mean, yeah, it's a very different movie. It's not really trying to do the comic book thing.
But it's also, like, Again, not quite the most depressing of his films, because all of his films kind of end on sort of like a bittersweet to depressing note, except for the ones that he doesn't have direct, complete story control over, like Hellboy or Blade. But, you know, like Crimson Peak is, spoiler, because you have to watch it, threat.
I know the basics.
Yeah, Shape of Water is, you know, does she drown? Does she get gills?
Again,
who knows?
Again,
but her found family's never seeing her again.
It's another case in which I refer to Del Toro's vision that, yes, the magical stuff is in fact real.
Yeah, but like, again, like, her found family doesn't know that.
Unfortunately, yes.
So they just see her get dragged under. And so, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, that Shape of Water is just this movie refined and with, like, 1950s B movies instead of fairy tales.
Yeah, no, I see the argument. They run very parallel towards each other. I could see Ophelia of Elena, if we want to put it into MCU multiverse terms.
They'd get along. They'd have coffee.
They'd get along so well.
They'd get coffee.
Yeah, because if she had lived, she would have been an adult by then. Which, Ivana Baquero is 31. She is literally playing a Black Widow, from what I can tell right now.
Fishman and Fauna. Fishman and Fawn.
Ooh.
There's someone's dream threesome anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not think this was going to be a movie in which we talk monster fucking this much, but here we are.
And on that note,
I mean,
what a great way to spend Monster Month. Start it.
Oh, trust me. If you think this is bad, I shudder to think what the Afterlife episode will look like, considering some of the ghost designs.
I mean, not to break it to you, but I got a pretty boy vampire on deck.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, with that all in mind, why does Alice in Wonderland endure?
The English urge to get isekai'd within your own culture.
Because when you're 10, the world starts to make a lot less sense. You're at the point where things that people told you to do aren't actually the things that you're supposed to do. Because if you do the thing that they tell you to, you're somehow the problem.
When you're 10, I still have that feeling.
That's when it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, to borrow, there's that one Tumblr post that's like Alice is experiencing all of the complications of the adult world and fuming about it the entire fucking time. Like, she's experiencing the nonsense niceties of polite English society, and she's just like, but consider, fuck this.
She ain't wrong.
Based of you, Alice, honestly.
Personally, the reason I think Alice in Wonderland endures is because people can interpret it in their own different ways.
Mm-hmm.
They can put new spins on it, new ideas, new discoveries. And it's really fun that way.
Absolutely. That's one of the fun things about a lot of these old stories. That's why I made this podcast. And I would like to bring up another Tumblr post that I saw at one point about how men relate to Hamlet because they see themselves as kings who have lost their crown unjustly, while women tend to relate to Alice because they feel like they have to deal with the world's nonsense, particularly from people who think that they're deposed kings. Gender essentialism notwithstanding, of course.
I was gonna say,
I know.
I don't feel like Hamlet in the Lost Throne sense. I do feel like Hamlet in the I'm depressed and trying to fight my way through not going to grad school, and being kidnapped by pirates could only improve my situation.
Listen. This quote was a generalization. I do think it's true for a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
But yes, I've said it before, I'm definitely more of a Wizard of Oz girl, but there is something really charming and weird about the Alice in Wonderland imagery, and again, there is a lot you could do with it.
Go get isekai today.
Yeah, we love an isekai.
And there is an isekai anime that is going to be coming out or at least an anime movie.
There
So
is?
I heard, yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
I love Japan. They'll make a movie about anything.
Japan, where all the weirdest ideas come to life.
Japan didn't want to make a movie about two gay girls, so they ended up making the love interest a Cher, voiced in the dub by Josh Keaton.
Man, that's dumb.
Huh.
That's dumb.
That's Japan.
No, let's not go that far. It's just homophobia. But I think we're all kind of constantly feeling like, this doesn't make sense. What the hell?
Yep.
And unfortunately, we cannot make it make sense.
So at least we can make Alice in Wonderland shit about it in order to make it a little more fun.
Yeah.
And also, it is always morally correct to lie to fascists.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Darn tootin'.
Yep. It is also always morally correct to wreck a fascist's life. Do with that what you will, dear listeners.
Pretty much.
Dear listeners, if you have not seen this movie yet, I really do encourage you to give it a try. Obviously, check the trigger warnings that I will be putting in the show notes here to see if to make sure that you watch this without getting blindsided. I wish I had realized River didn't know much about it, so I could have at least warned them a little.
None of the mutilation was self-mutilation. I got through most of it.
Yay!
And I can just watch other horror movies and pretend some of the characters in this one are being killed by the killer.
Awesome. If that makes you feel better, awesome. But it really is such a beautiful piece that really doesn't get talked about as much anymore, partially because recency bias is a hell of a drug, but also
Del Toro has indeed done a lot more and arguably has improved upon this formula, but I think this was kind of his, outside of the Hellboy stuff, this was kind of his first really breakout mainstream
this was
success.
This was his breakout.
So please, if anything we have said sounds interesting, please give it a try. Please note that any of the jokes here are made as a way to deal with how sad this movie is. It is not reflective of the tone of this movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Who has pluggables?
Hello. You can find me on Blue Sky at Dreams Rebel. You can find me on my own website, blog.filmland.online. You can find me as the host of The Straights Aren't All Right, a podcast where I gather a bunch of queers together, make them watch straight rom-coms, and try to answer the question, are the straights, like, okay? Our episodes are mildly infrequent, but I'm trying to get better, I swear, except dysfunction be dysfunctioning occasionally. Ding.
And while this is, of course, not a rom-com, I think we could categorically say the straights are definitely
The straights are not okay!
Yeah.
No.
Also, one last bullet point side note here. I know it's a cultural difference, but it really took me like a solid 5 minutes until she called Pedro her brother to realize that he was going to be a brother and not a lover. Anyway, dang, that's all I have to say.
That's fair.
So Crimson Peak. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry about that quip, but I don't have much to plug, but you can find me at Cutie Puppy Fire on the socials. I post things there.
Hey, don't we all? As for myself, I have a channel named Dreammaker Studios. We've got a couple series in the works, one based on the Haunted Mansion, and the other on various slasher villains. Both comedy, but we've got some other stuff in the works. So feel free to come join us.
And this week, for our Heroes Call to Action, I am highlighting Freedom from Immigrants, which is an immigrant-led abolitionist organization committed to ending immigrant incarceration. Given the recent ICE raids of Chicago residents, now more than ever seems like a good time to support organizations like this. You can find them at freedomforimmigrants.org for volunteer and donation opportunities. And as for me, you can follow me at Favor Vieira on all the socials, and you can follow this show on Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky, i.e. our podcast for Twitter and Blue Sky, and Init Retelling podcast.tumblr.com. If you'd like to help us reach the next chapter of our story, please consider leaving a comment or rating on the podcatcher of your choice, and telling all of your friends about us. Given it is officially spooky season, I think that makes for a very good treat for the trick-or-treater in your life. And if you have room in your wallets, please consider donating to our Patreon, Ko-Fi, or the Support the Show link below for shout-outs and on the podcast and other bonus features. Monster Month 3, Dream Warriors in the Underworld continues, and... Whoa!
Oh, mighty and powerful host, I have come from the inner walls to bid my wish into the great ether.
And hello to you too. Didn't I just see you? I don't think the axe damage was really necessary, but alright, I'll bite. What are you thinking?
Surely you wouldn't choose to torture me after breaking my wall.
Castlevania.
Okay, you've got to be more specific. We can't even play half those games due to the lack of tech or localizations.
What? No, the Netflix series that came out in... Shit, that does really say 2017. I guess that makes sense. I vaguely remember being in high school.
Now is not the time for power word age, River. Alright, I guess since Dracula and Carmilla are major figures, it does indeed count. Wait a minute. You just want to talk about Trevor Belmont.
If Nick can talk about their sad little meow meow who's tangentially related to the pod, then so can I!
Fair enough. So, dear listeners, I guess our next episode is going to be on the first 2 seasons of Netflix's Castlevania. We hope you will join us, and remember, stories gain power in each retelling.
Lastly, she pictured to herself how the same little sister of hers would, in the aftertime, be herself a grown woman, and how she would keep through all of her riper years the simple and loving heart of her childhood, and how she would gather about her other little children and make their eyes bright and eager with many a strange tale, perhaps even with the dream of Wonderland of long ago, and how she would feel with all their simple sorrows and find a pleasure in all their simple joys, remembering her own child life and the happy summer days.